Shetland house of the 1850s to the 1870s, it was a time when a lot of these imported goods were coming into the home, and those goods were not just improving the way of life, the day-to-day way that people lived, but also it gives us a nice little clue as to their mind. It shows us that these were aspirational people. They wanted to not show off, that's not the right way to put it, but they were trying to say, look, we're not living like our ancestors did, we're trying to make things a little bit better, a little bit more decorative perhaps. And a great way to look at that is to look at two things here in the Craft Museum. There's this press here, and then the unit to the right that I'll show you in a moment. And this press here, this is where they kept what they called the lem. And the lem is a Scottish word, as opposed to a word that goes back in Shetland for many, many centuries. And that's because, of course, farther back in time in Shetland, people tended to use wooden vessels, which had been made either locally or more likely imported from Norway, what we call a cap. And a cap was a wooden bowl of any kind, and a Norwa cap was one that had been made in Norway. But this lem, earthenware dishes, some of it made in southwest England, a lot of it made in Scottish lowlands, came to be very common in Shetland for maybe the second quarter of the 19th century especially, and rapidly ousted old woodenware out of the press in Shetland. But by the time that all these things were on the go, so there's a bacon bowl there, there's soup plates, there's a jar for homemade jam, which would be rhubarb jam of course, down here in this bit of the press. These are crocks for milk, because the cow is milked 3 times a day, and when she's milked, and the milk is decanted into these jars here, they're glazed on the inside, and then every so many days the milk is decanted into a churn to make butter. Now all these items here, earthenware and stoneware vessels, by the middle of the 19th century, even those which were an improvement on the old way of doing things, which was wooden vessels for a lot of these activities, they'd been replaced or supplemented by the items that you can see here. Now you can see this is much finer ware. There's nice decorative transfer print things here. They've got all these different underglaze patterns on them, dark blue, light blue. There's plates, ashets, these big oval dishes here, as well as egg cups, mugs and things like that. And these, compared with those, are finer, more decorative, but by the same token, in houses of the gentry of this era, say 1860, 1870, these would be regarded as being a bit for the common people. And in that way you can see that there's always been a pecking order of tableware. But in the homes of the common people, these were definitely your best china, and you maybe didn't use it every day. The everyday stuff is certainly going to be kept in the press in there. And this unit that they stored it in is just as much to do with display as it is to do with storage. And you can see the way that they have them stored here, canted forward, because the roof here, it's got turf on the underside here, and traditionally it was heather ropes. So this is just a home for wood lice and earwigs and whatever it might be, spiders and so forth. So you don't want your dishes to get full of dust and grime, and you can pick the plate directly off the rack there, and it's lovely and clean because all the dust is on the back there. And the unit itself, it had a name in the local dialect. It was called a heck, and a heck is an old Shetland word. It means a frame or a grid. So that word can pertain to anything that's constructed in a frame or grid-like fashion. And in this particular instance, this is a lem hack, so it's a storage grid, storage shelving for crockery.